sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
That was just 30 seconds from the 90-minute debate in June that essentially ended President Biden's campaign. But now, with his vice president at the top of the ticket, Luke, let's take a look at how the polls have shifted.
Were you getting flashbacks there for a second?
A couple flashbacks
PTSD there. Yeah. A lot of people watched the debate and did not like what they saw from the President Biden. Let's take a look at the polls that came out immediately following that, if they want to come up here.
There we go. Look at those pretty graphics.
Look how nice that is.
Wow.
I wonder who did that. But this is from July, taken shortly after the debate, July 3rd. The debate was on June 27th. Donald Trump winning nationally 49-43, a 6-point margin. Not great for a presidential race. So not great that President Biden made history, decided to step away from the presidential race, let his vice president step in and take his place. And look at that. In August, the Harris honeymoon, as it has been dubbed, put her up by 4 points over Donald Trump in the key swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. That was back on August 10th. But now she's had a little time to cool off. You know, things have come down a little bit. Coconut summer is over. Brat summer is over. And we're seeing the polls return to being deadlocked.
Brat summer's never over.
You know what? I feel like it's like talking points fall, We've got 48-47, the new national poll from New York Times, Siena College out just yesterday. So why did this honeymoon fade away? Well, there are a couple key reasons for that. Take a look at this. 61% of voters say that they want major change from Joe Biden, which is interesting given the fact that they are, on a ticket together. They ran the country for the past 4 years. And you can see only 25% say that Kamala Harris represents major change from Joe Biden. 55% say she is more of the same. This is a change election, Jake. People want change. Is that what Kamala Harris brings them?
I'm not Kamala Harris,
sure.
So I'm not going to say that
we'll
she's
bringing change.
We'll have to see in the debate. We'll have to see in the debate, and we'll have to see if she's elected. But one of the things I do want to point out is I think you made a good point in saying that coconut tree summer is over.
Sure.
I'm standing by saying brat summer's never over. Brat summer is never over. That's going on forever. But you mentioned the Harris honeymoon being over. Right. I think one thing that I've been looking at recently from the Trump campaign is their attempt to define Harris before she can define herself. Right. Obviously, Kamala Harris didn't win a single primary. She was kind of thrust into the spotlight when President Biden stepped down. So an interesting thing that the Trump campaign had to do as soon as she came in there was basically define to America and say, hey, this is who Kamala Harris is from the Trump campaign's view, so that Harris couldn't do that before them. And I think we saw that honeymoon for a little while, and I think we saw that boost from the DNC, and now I think we're seeing a little bit of the opposite. The Trump campaign has put out a few ads trying to define Harris, one of them being the Amanda ad, which is an ad about a woman in San Francisco who was assaulted in a crime, and it's about Harris as a prosecutor in San Francisco. They're kind of attempting to paint her as this coastal elite who's out of touch with the blue wall, which is the ever important few Midwestern states that are swing states, which is so interesting that Trump is able to do that because, well, he's technically a Florida candidate. He's from, an all-gold penthouse in New York City.
Sure.
And the fact that his campaign has almost achieved that here is really interesting, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch how he tries to do that in the debate tomorrow night.
It's a nice penthouse. Trump Tower is pretty nice. But you know what?
Very nice penthouse.
Another one of those numbers from that New York Times Siena poll that I want to talk about. 28% of voters say that they want to know more about Kamala Harris. She'll have an opportunity to introduce herself to voters tomorrow night at the ABC News presidential debate. And after you're done watching the debate, tune in right here to Citrus TV. We'll be on at 11 o'clock, me and Jake. We'll be talking about all the stuff that goes down. We've got like a boatload of analysts.
We have a boatload of
analysts. We have a dozen people
some
that
of your,
be talking about the
Some
debate.
of your favorite Citrus TV news reporters will be there. We've got some folks from Talking Points. We've got some folks from the news side. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of analysis. We're not going to miss a single beat, so make sure to join us for that tomorrow. But Luke, if we can end on this. One thing I'm looking for in the debate tomorrow, how Trump attempts to define Harris. What about you?
I am looking for how Harris attempts to separate herself from her boss.
Super interesting. That's all the time we have for you today on this episode of Talking Points. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Citrus TV News and like us on Facebook. I'm Jake Morel.
And I'm Luke Radel. It's great to be here. Have a great night.